Good afternoon and welcome to today's match of the 2022 Okaloosa County High School Academic Tournament. This year we have 6 schools from Okaloosa County going head-to-head in a double elimination format. These standout students will be displaying their knowledge of math, science, history, fine arts and literature, pop culture, and more to determine our tournament champion for 2022. I'm your host and moderator, David Honsinger. Lisa Nall will be our timekeeper and scorekeeper, while Scott Smith and Stella Verswijvelt will serve as our chief judges and make all the final decisions on all things official. Scott Smith is a registered professional engineer and has degrees in engineering and management. He is retired from the Air Force and still works at Eglin as a civilian. He has taught math, statistics, and logistics analysis at AFIT, Northwest Florida State College, and the University of Arkansas. Stella Verswijvelt is a contracts management flight chief. With an academic background in mathematics and engineering, Ms. Verswijvelt has had a 35-year career at Eglin Air Force Base, primarily in the test and evaluations of weapon systems. She is currently a supervisor of a team of 24 people in the 96 Test Wing Range Group and focuses on engineering management. Today's teams are from Crestview High School and Fort Walton Beach High School. Let's take a quick break to hear from some of our Okaloosa County schools, and we'll come back and meet the teams. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and meet the teams. First, from Crestview High School, under the coaching of Coach Erica Kennedy, we have
Sophia Rivera, Jr.
Isaiah Norris, Jr.
Max Stewart, freshman.
Ananda Husto, Jr.
And their opponent today, from Fort Walton Beach High School, under the coaching of Cindy Stone, we have
David Starr, 11th grade.
Ivan Gutierrez, 11th grade. Alex Parker, 11th grade.
Will Kiker, 9th grade.
And now that we've met all the players today, let's go ahead and get started with our first question. Your category today, the first question, is social studies. This man's wartime service in Europe led to Ben Franklin introducing him by letter to George Washington, who agreed to pay him after the Revolutionary War and installed him as the Continental Army's Inspector General at Valley Forge.
Marquis de Lafayette.
That is incorrect. I will repeat the entire question for Fort Walton Beach. This man's wartime service in Europe led to Ben Franklin introducing him by letter to George Washington, who agreed to pay him after the Revolutionary War and installed him as the Continental Army's Inspector General at Valley Forge. He taught the Continental Army how to use bayonets and provided other training to make the Army capable of fighting the British. Name this Prussian officer.
Gotha?
No, that is the Baron Friedrich von Steuben. Toss-up number 2 today is a literature question. She did not yet understand that a snake could lie to her, as when it told her she would not die if she broke a commandment of God.
Eve.
Eve is the correct answer. Your bonuses are social studies questions. British entrepreneur Sir Richard Branson has started nearly 50 companies whose names begin with the word Virgin. Identify what business each of these Virgin companies is in. First, Virgin Atlantic.
I could not tell you.
Cruise. I probably cruise shit. Or cruise. Cruise industry.
No, it is airlines. The second is, what is Virgin Pure?
Take a stab.
I think it'd be like on the top, like maybe water or olive oil, maybe. I go water.
It's water.
Oh, that's okay.
Our next toss-up is a math question. Pencils and paper ready. To convert rainfall on a roof surface to gallons per minute, or GPM, use the equation GPM equals R times A times 0.0104, where R is rainfall in inches per hour and A is the roof area in square feet. Find the gallons per minute hitting a rectangular roof 40 feet by 25 feet if the rain is falling at 3 inches per hour. The answer is 31.2. Our next toss-up is a fine arts question. This composer's early operas, Idomeneo and The Abduction from the Seraglio, and later opera The Clemency of Titus, were written without his collaborator Lorenzo da Ponte. Name this composer for whom da Ponte wrote the libretti for the operas Don Giovanni, Così fan tutti, and The Marriage of Figaro.
Mozart.
Mozart is the correct answer. Your bonuses are on literature. Identify these poem collections by American poets. This Robert Frost collection, named for the New England state without a state income tax, includes Fire and Ice and Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening.
Do you happen to know?
Water.
That's not New England.
Vermont. I don't know. I don't know my state.
That's a good
taxes.
one.
Just guess. Vermont. Say Vermont. I don't know.
Vermont.
New Hampshire. The next one is this Walt Whitman collection, augmented several times, includes I Hear America Singing and I Sing the Body Electric.
Massachusetts.
What? No.
That's New England.
Feels right.
But it's not New England anymore. It's New
It's not
England.
No, but it's in like the just. I don't. Okay, but it's Massachusetts.
The name of that collection is Leaves of Grass. The next toss-up is a science question. The transformer type of this device is very reliable, but is heavy and expensive. Plus, it puts out a constant buzzing sound. Name this device used in a solar energy system, the opposite of a rectifier, that converts the DC electricity from solar panels into the AC electricity needed to run a house.
Inductor.
That is incorrect. Can you take it?
The generator.
No, it is an inverter. The next toss-up is a social studies question. It costs natives about 2,000 shillings to enter the national park named for this mountain, whose base area includes homelands of both the Kikuyu and Maasai people. Identify this mountain, the second highest in Africa after Kilimanjaro, that gave its name to the country where it's located, some 90 miles north of Nairobi.
U2.
That is incorrect.
Kenya.
Kenya, there's the answer I wanted. Your bonus is a literature question. Name these characters from the Odyssey. The son of Odysseus who searches for his missing father.
It starts with a P. It's I don't know.
I defer to Alex.
Peleus.
No, it's Telemachus, or Telemachus. The father of Odysseus who lives to see his sons return home.
Say a Greek name.
I defer to Alex.
Agamemnon.
The answer is Laertes. The next toss-up is a literature question. In the title of a Raymond Chandler story, this object is a nuisance. In a Scott Odell novel, this gem is black, not white, and is thought of as heavenly. A Tracy Chevalier novel tells how Vermeer's most famous painting might have been created, which features a girl wearing one of these gems.
Pearl.
Pearl is the correct answer. Your bonus is math. Pencils and paper ready. Simplify these expressions containing exponents. Y to the fourth power, quantity to the fifth power.
I'm pretty sure you just or add them. You add them.
It's multiplier.
Okay.
Multiply? Okay.
Y to the power 20.
'Cause it's
Oh,
multiplier.
y to the 20th power?
Y to the 20th power is correct. Next, Z to the 12th times Z to the 4th divided by Z to the 14th.
Okay, so that would be z to the second.
Yeah, Z to the second.
Z to the second?
Z to the second or Z squared is correct. The next toss-up is a social studies question. The first COVID-19 vaccine to be registered for use anywhere uses two different adenoviruses and has been approved for use in more than 60 countries, but still has not been approved by the World Health Organization. What Russian vaccine shares its name with the first artificial satellite sent into space?
Sputnik.
Sputnik is the correct answer. Your bonuses are science questions. Identify these alkali metals. Named for the red color of its emission spectrum, its periodic table location is just above cesium.
Name for the red.
Strontium.
Rubidium. Its chloride compound, known as sylvite, is used as a fertilizer, as a replacement for sodium in table salt, and as a literal heart stopper in lethal injections?
Calcium.
Magnesium.
Potassium. Next toss-up is a literature question. This city is the subject of a Robert Harris novel, as well as a novel by Edward Bulwer Lytton that tells of this city's last days and its Athenian nobleman Glaucus, who marries the orphan girl Ione. The Magic Treehouse book, Vacation Under the Volcano, also tells the story of what ancient Italian city?
Pompeii.
Pompeii is the correct answer. Your bonuses are social studies. Answer these about the French and Indian War. The war ended in this year, 7 years after it began, and 13 years before America's Declaration of Independence.
1763.
Yeah, 1763.
That is correct. Britain got Florida from Spain and agreed to France's giving what is now this state and the rest of its namesake area to Spain.
Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Louisiana is the correct answer. Next toss-up is miscellaneous. It is the only NFL franchise with an overall winning record over its entire regular season history that has never won a Super Bowl, though it came close in the late 1970s when it played in 3 Super Bowls in 4 years with its star quarterback, Fran Tarkenton.
Minnesota Vikings.
That is correct. Your bonus is a language arts question. Give the word that completes each of these dying metaphors as described by George Orwell. No axe to blank.
Blunt.
Grind.
Grind is correct. Blank to the mill.
Run.
Maybe.
Run.
The mill? The mill? I've never heard
Run
that.
to the middle. I don't know.
Run to the mill?
Grist. Our next toss-up is a social studies question. Created in 1917 to make Congress at least pretend to be fiscally responsible, this quantity was increased more than 50 times.
The debt ceiling?
The debt ceiling is a correct answer. Your bonuses are math. If the angle in this formula equals 90%, the formula reduces to the Pythagorean theorem. Name this formula used with non-right triangles that uses a trig ratio of a known angle between 2 known sides.
Law of cosines.
Law of cosines is correct. The law of cosines says that for a triangle with sides A, B, and C, and a known angle x, c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus this term.
2ab cosine.
Yeah, isn't it?
2ab cosine theta.
Is it so?
2ab cosine theta.
Judges? We'll accept that. It says cosine x because the angle was given as x. Our next toss-up is a language arts question. The word pulchritude, from the Latin for beautiful, is spelled correctly by Aquila at the end of the movie Aquila and the Bee. You too can be a National Spelling Bee co-champion on film if you can spell pulchritude.
P-A-U-L-K-E-R-T-U-D-E.
That is incorrect. You want to try? Go ahead.
P-A-U-L-K-R-I-T-U-D-E.
That's incorrect. It is P-U-L-C-H-R-I-T-U-D-E. And that's the end of the first half. We'll take a minute, total up the scores, and we'll be back after hearing from a couple of our schools. Welcome back. We have a halftime score of Fort Walton Beach High School 50, Crestview High School 95. We have some substitutions. For Crestview High School, would you please introduce yourself?
Matthew K. did, freshman.
And for Fort Walton Beach High School, would you please introduce yourselves?
Cece Cameron, 12th grade.
Kira Quinn, 11th grade.
Now that we've met everybody that's new, let's go ahead and continue our match with our next toss-up question in the category of science. Pencils and paper ready. A sample of ideal gas at 4 atmospheres of pressure and 200 Kelvin is heated to 250 Kelvin. What is the new pressure of the gas at that temperature? Cece.
1.25.
That is incorrect. That's time. It is 5 atmospheres is the number we wanted. Our next toss-up is a math question. Pencils and paper ready. A small paper shredder can shred 20 pages in 5 minutes before its motor has to cool off for 3 minutes. At that rate, how many pages can be shredded in 2 hours? I'm sorry, that was just too late. The answer I needed was 300. Our next toss-up is a social studies question. It is the only U.S. state containing an area whose 100-year rainfall rate is more than 6 inches per hour. Floods in this state over the last 50 years have been named for its areas Anahola and
Hawaii.
Hawaii is the correct answer. Your bonuses are science questions. Answer these about scientific instruments. A sphygmomanometer measures this parameter of your body in millimeters of mercury. Normal is about 120/80.
It's blood pressure.
Okay, I
Blood
believe you. Blood pressure.
Blood pressure is the correct answer. This spinning machine separates solid from liquid or red blood cells from plasma.
Centrifuge.
Centrifuge is the correct answer. Our next toss-up is a miscellaneous question. This series is based on a book called 12 Patients, Life and Death at Bellevue Hospital, the 12th of which is the book's author, Dr. Erich Mannheimer. The series shares its name with the Dutch settlement that eventually became New York City.
New Amsterdam?
New Amsterdam is the correct answer. Your bonuses are in fine arts. Give these music terms that start with M. A device put into the bell of a trumpet to dampen its sound.
A mute.
A pair of grace notes before the main note indicated in written music by a squiggle above the staff.
The only thing I can think of is a tremolo, but that's not M.
I don't know.
Did
I don't
answer
know.
something.
Word.
Pass.
The answer is a mordant. Our next toss-up is a social studies question. Former newspapers in this city include The World, published by Joseph Pulitzer, The Tribune, edited by...
New York City?
New York City is the correct answer. Your bonus is a math questions. Pencils and paper ready. When using the quadratic formula and its letters A, B, and C to solve an equation, the numerator has one term we'll call J, followed by a plus or minus sign, and then another term we'll call K. The denominator has a term we'll call M. Now, for the equation 3x squared minus 17x plus 5 equals 0, give the value of J.
J is going to be negative 17. So that would be
Yeah.
negative
Yeah,
17.
negative B,
So that would
which
be negative 17.
And the answer is 17. And the value of K.
B squared, so 17 squared. Negative 17 squared was the same thing. It's going to be some really weird thing.
Minus 4 times 3 times...
The answer is the square root of 229. Our next toss-up is a science question. This part of your body passes through your foramen magnum, or great hole, in your skull bone. A baby's nerve segments in this body part correspond with its vertebrae. Give the common two-word term for this part of your central...
Spinal cord.
Spinal cord is the correct answer. Your bonuses are social studies. Name these European countries from the nations that border them. Norway, Sweden, and Russia.
Finland.
Finland is correct. Albania, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, Turkey.
It's down there.
Greece.
What do you know?
Greece.
It wouldn't be Greece.
Or
No,
Romania.
Romania, maybe.
Romania.
Greece.
Max.
Your next toss-up is a fine arts question. The mirrorless type of this object uses an electronic screen, while its action type is designed for rugged outdoor use, and its 360 type allows a panoramic view. This
Camera.
camera is the correct answer. Your bonuses are in literature. Answer these questions about the Richard Adams novel Watership Down. This character, who has a vision that their warren of rabbits will soon be destroyed, has a brother named Hazel.
You got any idea?
No, guess a nice name. Peter.
John.
Peter.
Fiver. This head of the warren of Ephrafa is eventually killed by the watchdog at Nuthanger Farm.
No idea.
Killed by the watchdog. Who would be killed by the watchdog?
That's a
I defer to Alex.
Kugelain.
Sorry?
Kugelain.
No, it's General Woundwort. Our next toss-up is a math question. Pencils and paper ready. Give the derivative with respect to x of the expression sine of the quantity x squared plus 5. Cece.
2x times cosine quantity x squared plus 5.
Yes, that is the correct answer. Your bonuses are social studies questions. Name these African countries at serious risk for massive famine in 2021, according to the United Nations. This Malagasy-speaking country off the east coast of Africa is experiencing a severe drought.
Madagascar. Madagascar.
That is correct. In the fall of 2020, the UN called this two-word country situation the world's fastest growing displacement crisis. The country shares the central Sahel era of West Africa with Mali and Niger.
2 words. With Mali and Niger. Cameroon. It's not the Gambia.
Who am I
is not
deferring
right.
to?
That's on the.
I defer to Alex.
Sorry, the answer is Burkina Faso. Our next toss-up is a science question. Pencils and paper ready. To find the equivalent resistance of a set of parallel resistors, take the reciprocal of each one, add the reciprocals together, and then take the reciprocal of the result. Find the equivalent resistance created by 3 parallel resistors with values 40 ohms, 100 ohms, and 150 ohms. The answer is 24 ohms. Our next toss-up is a literature question. This poem's line, "Someone had blundered," explains why the 600 had cannon all around them in all directions as they rode into the valley of death. At the end of this poem, they that had fought so well came through jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. But not all of the 600. Name this Tennyson poem that says, "There's not to make reply, there's not to reason why, there's but to do and die."
The story of the 600.
That is incorrect. Crestview?
Time.
The answer is The Charge of the Light Brigade. Our next toss-up is a math question. Pencils and paper ready. Plumbing code requires shower compartments to have at least 6.25 square feet in interior cross-sectional area. In inches, give the minimum width, or depth as they're the same, of a shower compartment that is a perfect square. The answer is 30 inches. 30 inches. Our next toss-up is a social studies question. After this country became independent in 1948, an Austrian woman named Franziska Donner served as its first lady because she was married to its first president, Rhee Syngman. Identify this Asian nation, now in its 6th republic, whose first lady, as of July 1st, 2021, was Kim Jong-suk, the wife of President Moon Jae-in.
South Korea.
South Korea is the correct answer. Your bonuses are literature questions. Identify these characters from the Dickens novel Great Expectations. This housekeeper, who helps raise David, eventually marries Mr. Barkis.
Mrs. Havisham is my only guess.
Mrs. Havisham.
Clara Peggotty. This man, who spends time in a British debtor's prison, learns his lesson and ends up as a magistrate in Australia.
Smith.
Wilkins McCauber. Our next toss-up question is a math question. Pencils and paper ready. Simplify this expression as much as possible. The product of the square root of 24x cubed and the square root of 6x to the 5th. The answer is 12x to the 4th. And that is the end of the match today. We'll take a minute, total up the scores, and we'll come back right after this. Welcome back. We have a final score today of Crestview High School 145, Fort Walton Beach High School 120. Thank you to all the students who participated today, and thank you viewers for tuning in to this exciting match. We'd also like to thank our corporate sponsors, Microsystems Incorporated and 98 Barbecue. Tune in next time for further exciting tournament action. Thank you.